What's up?
What's going on, man?
Well, you're in a different place than you were this time last year, I guess, right? Feeling good. How do you feel, and what will having this offseason of full work do you think do for you?
I feel great. I do think though, just having anytime you got a full season of work, you get into a groove, you get into a routine, and you set a plan. You don't not only set a plan for the off season, but you set a plan for the season. You're like, okay, game day, this is what I'm gonna do. I kind of like this setup of warm up and stretching. So you kind of really get to sit down and plan. And of course, things will change as the season goes on. Maybe you need to change what you do, come a little earlier, or maybe you're like, I need a little more time in the tub. But you really just get the plan and visualize what you think will be the best course of action to make sure you're prepared every single day to go out there and put your best foot forward.
Because of that, you didn't have that plan last year for a lot of reasons. How did that set you back coming back and what you played week 5? Were you as ready as you could be, but not really ready?
Yeah, and that's always tough too, because now you're trying to repair after every game, and when you're coming in fresh, then it's just a matter of maintaining rather than getting back, maintaining, putting yourself back together every single week. So it's tough. It's a violent game, and of course, like I said, things will change. I'm sure you'll fight through. It'll be something you got to fight through, or it'll be something that you have to manage. But as long as you come in prepared and as ready as possible, you set yourself up for success. Like I said, it's a violent game, so anything can happen.
But we've talked to you too. Again, so much is expected of you in NAR. You practiced 2 or 3 times last year and 2 plays. What do you anticipate this year with the practice and the preparation?
You'll just have a lot more continuity. Repetition, anything. Anytime you're doing something new, you do repetition. You first became a journalist. As you got more stories out, you started going, you got better and better as time went on.
And look at them now.
Look at them now, certified.
Hey, you guys, your skill positions look a lot different right now than they did a year ago. You weren't in the lineup for a long time. And then obviously AR got hurt, you got AD now. What can this group be, do you think?
I think it's a young, dynamic group. It's a young, dynamic group. We had a little shift from when I first got here. We had a lot of vets, which was, for me, I enjoyed because I was able to learn. Guys like me, Pitt, Julian Blackman, we were able to learn. So now we do have a young, dynamic group. And like I just mentioned, it's going to be about continuity. It's going to be about getting those bank reps together, knowing how everyone plays, how everyone is thinking maybe. But also just, having that feel. When like I said, when you get those repetitions together, you just get that feel. There's a lot of things that you just can't rep. Like sometimes it's just a feel, like you just know. You with your linemen, your blockers, you just know. When you see them on that double team, you just feel like, oh, I know they're about to come off. So just being able to have that feel with the guys, I think will be big for us. But then at the end of the day, you just got to put it together on Sundays. That's what's going to matter.
JT, you've been through injuries and things like that. With the CAR come back, grab his helmet, what's that do for the team morale? Seeing him have joy at the end of the game.
That's how I am with anybody now. When I see them fight back through an injury, because the number one thing is when you're injured, it's you don't feel good, but 2, you know that there is a time span from when you will feel good, and you want to fast forward, but it's a process. So I just feel really good when I see someone finally get back to themselves, because that just makes me feel good. I just light up because I'm like, man, I'm glad you're feeling well. I'm glad you're feeling well, because then I know you're in the right mental space to be able to go out there, put your right foot forward, and just give it all you got. It's definitely a process when you're trying to claw back.
How important was it for you going into this offseason, ending last year how you did personally with that huge game good season? Did that change things for you?
Not for the offseason, no. The offseason always has been about the work. But it was a great feeling. Really, it wasn't even a great feeling to end off the season like that, because how we ended it off. But looking back after a few weeks, I was definitely happy to finally kind of be able to get into a groove a little bit, at least for one game. But I will say though, it was definitely encouraging knowing okay, now let's just build from here. Let me just build this plan based on how I'm feeling, what needs to be done to, 1, get back to base level, and then be able to grow from there, as a player, physically, mentally. I think that is kind of how I took, the end of last season.
How are you leading that running back room behind you, the guys, Seamus and they're all battling it out to be your number 2, so what's been your role in helping them develop?
Number 1, I've been definitely when guys, do some good things, whatever their skill set is, I'm definitely letting them know, hey, you do this really well. I mean, you guys heard it last year, Zach, with the spin move. Like, some things you, like, guys do really well, and I want them to know, like, use that to your strength, use that to your advantage, because when you're on the field, that's how you're gonna beat the man across from you, because that's probably a portion of the reason that got you here, from that special skill that you have. So continue to do that. But then maybe they made a mistake that I made before. I'm like, listen, I did that before too, and I know why you did that, but this is how you have to go about it. This is the scheme. These are kind of the parameters within the scheme. So just trying to help out any way that I can. And some of the guys, they've been around, like Trey, he's been around with a few teams. So I've been asking him some questions too. Like, you know, when you guys were over here in this system, how did you guys run it? So I'm always learning. You know, it never stops. I'm always learning as well.
JT, your offensive line had some up and downs a couple of years ago, and then, you know, last year it kind of really came together. What's next for them, and how does that benefit you, the way they played last year?
It's tremendous. Like I said, the continuity with the offensive line, like, you know the blocking scheme, you know what's supposed to happen, but then it's that feel. It's that feel when you see how the backer is playing, and you just know, like, I know he's gonna hook this guy. Like, I just feel, I know he's gonna, just how the angle and just how Q plays, like, you have that feel and you know. Also, we have another Badger in the building, so I'm excited about that. Looking forward to helping him and mentoring him a little bit as well, making sure that the guys on the offensive line help him out. But I just do think that feel is going to be really well, because when you have a great run, a hard run, it pumps those guys up as well. Right. You know, because they created the hole, they move guys off of the line. So when you encourage them and they're feeling well, you're feeling great, it's going to be hard to stop us. It's going to be hard to stop us.
JT, you talked about how critical the reps are, but when your timeline task is pretty limited when you're out there on the field, you're trying to maximize it. But what are the other things that you can do with your quarterback when you have this period of time, even not necessarily when you're on the practice field, to continue to cultivate that dynamic?
Number one, I would say, is you got to put some work in on your own. And it's actually, sometimes it's not even physical. Sometimes it's just watching the film and then maybe shooting them a text or seeing them in the hallway like, hey, listen, on this play that we just ran, in team period, the Vista, when we ran this, what were you thinking? So sometimes it's just getting that communication, but then now you have to bank that rep, be ready for the next time you get that rep on the field, and then be able to execute it. Now, it may not happen exactly like that again, but you've banked that mental rep. I think that's a big thing that, being a vet now and seeing some of the guys over the years, is sometimes it's not you get a coaching point and then you immediately see it again the next time you're on the field. It may be 5 practices from now, but you'll get it right then, and the coaches are like, man, great job, way to see it. But in your mind, I had that communication already with them. So I was waiting on this moment. I was waiting on it. That's why a lot of times it's opportunity is when you have that preparation as well. That's when you have success, is when that opportunity comes, but you've been prepared for that moment.
Jonathan, last year you kind of talked about being that safety net for Anthony, and obviously you didn't really get much of a chance to do that. Like, how do you still understand the importance of your role as the running back in kind of helping Anthony out as he does see things for the first time as a young quarterback in this league?
I think number one is letting him, at the end of the day, especially in the gun, it's just us two back there. So just letting him know, hey, at the end of the day, I have your back. You have the offensive line, you have the guys up front, you got the guys on the perimeter with certain checks and, helping you out, but it's us back there. And I have your back 100%. If you see something downfield, like, you want your quarterback to know you have time. Like, at the end of the day, you have time. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you want to do, I'm there with you. And because a lot of being a running back too, a lot of other positions don't have that pre-snap communication with the quarterback. Like, you can be with the quarterback talking like, oh, do you see here? Like, hey, listen, this might be a check here. Like, you just get those little special moments, and that just comes with the position. So just being able to have him know, listen, I'm gonna help you out. Quarterbacks help running backs out sometimes too. You never know. And like I said, it doesn't matter how long a player's been here. At least for me, I always try to learn. So it doesn't matter if, you're a first-year starting guy or, you've been here for 5 years. I'm going to ask you questions as well. So I always just like to have my quarterbacks feel comfortable and just know that, I have your back.
From an offensive
Last
perspective,
question.
what's it like to see live to from the other side?
Quick, very quick, twitchy. For me, and it was hard too, because they don't really stream a lot of UCLA games. So, when I saw the pick, I'm like, okay, let me go and watch. I don't really watch UCLA. I don't really watch them. And I'm like, okay. I said, okay, I see why. But now, just full speed. And then, oh my gosh, the guys that we have up front, like being able to learn from them. And when you add that skill set, like I said, everyone has something special. So when you're able to learn from the sheet of veterans we have on the defensive front, if you're able to learn from them, but add your own specialty to it, that's when you start becoming, I feel like, your own player. So I'm excited for him to start growing into his own, becoming his own player. Your first year, you want to learn everything, figure out the parameters of what you need to do, but I'm excited to see him grow into becoming his own player.
Thanks, JT.